Welcome. Today we're going to discuss the basics of Medicare and the secondary pay rule and why it's so important to understand this rule. My name is John. I'm president of Riley and Associates. We are a local independent insurance agency. We specialize exclusively in Medicare, and we have over 2 decades of health and Medicare experience. Today we're going to be covering the basics of Medicare, just a really short version of that. We do go into a longer version every other week and take a deep dive. So you're welcome to join us there. But today we're just going to keep it really high level on the basics and then talk about the secondary payer rule, which is so important, especially here in the South Bay with so many people continuing to work. You definitely need to understand this rule. Okay, so understanding how it works with employer coverage is based on employer size. So and ultimately it'll determine when you have to enroll in original Medicare and what your options are. So everyone has to enroll in original Medicare, and this rule, if you're still working, will tell you when you have to do that. Okay, so let's take a look. So here's the quick basics of Medicare. So what is Medicare? Medicare is health insurance provided by the federal government for those age 65 and older, and those under 65 with certain disabilities. And as many of us know, it covers your health care services, and after 65, but it doesn't cover everything. There's deductibles, co-insurance, and that sort of thing. So it's really important to understand how it works so you don't get hit with costs. Okay, so let's take a look. Here are the basics. So there's 4 parts to Medicare. So Part A is your hospital coverage. It covers things like inpatient stays and skilled nursing. Part B is your medical insurance, covers doctors, labs, x-rays, diagnostics, and outpatient surgery. Part A and Part B is known as Original Medicare. So everyone has to sign up for Original Medicare. Part C is what they call an Advantage plan. It's an alternative way to receive Part A and Part B, and it includes Part D. It works just like an HMO. And then Part D is covers your prescription drugs. So you've got 2 options. We're not going to go a deep dive on this today, but just so you know, so some people will stay with original Medicare. They will add a supplemental to pay for those out-of-pocket costs and a Part D prescription drug plan. That will make you whole. That gives you the ability to go to any doctor, any hospital in the nation that takes Medicare, or you'll take door number 2, which is a Medicare Advantage plan, which works like an HMO and covers these things. So those are your 2 options. And like I said, we're not going to deep dive on those today, but give us a call or join us next week, and we will take a deep dive on that. Okay. All right. So Medicare helps pay for the covered healthcare services, but like I said, it doesn't cover everything. You still have deductibles, co-pays, and co-insurance. And so the way it works is that when you get original Medicare Part A and Part B, and you go to get services through a provider, that provider is going to bill Medicare. Medicare is going to pay their portion, and then they're going to bill you or an insurance company. So that's why either picking up a supplemental or an Advantage plan and replace you with the insurance company. So Medicare is going to bill the insurance company for the, if you're on an Advantage plan or a supplemental. So those are going to cover these costs. Okay, so I hope that's clear. So let's look at, why it's so important to understand what happens when you have Medicare and other coverage like an employer plan. So this is where the secondary payer rule comes into play. Okay, so I want to start by explaining the Medicare secondary payer rule. This rule determines which insurance pays first when someone has both Medicare and employer coverage. So it doesn't matter whether you're on, employer coverage as an employee or employer coverage, like say on your spouse's employer coverage. It's going to really come down to the size of the company, and we're going to take a look at that. So understanding this is going to help to avoid, unpaid claims or unexpected medical bills. gaps in coverage and possibly a penalty. So these you don't want to get surprises when it comes to medical insurance, and you don't want to have penalties that you have to pay to Social Security. Okay, so that's what we're going to take a look at now. So here's the Medicare secondary payer rule. There's just one main factor, and it's employer size. So whether if you're on an employer as an employee, or you're on your spouse's employer plan and they're under 20 employees, that means that you're going to sign up for original Medicare when you first turn 65. So you can't delay Part B if you're on a small group plan. Medicare is going to be primary. And I'll talk about that here in a second. And then if you're over 20, that's when you can delay Part B, because Part B does come with a premium. So a lot of people will delay Part B if they like their employer coverage. So each, employers with over 20 employees, you can delay Part B, stay on your employer coverage, and each situation determines which coverage pays first. So under 20, Medicare pays first. Over 20, your group plan pays first. So we'll take a little bit more of a dive on that. Okay, so let's start with scenario number one, your first scenario. So you're with an employer that has 20 employees or less. Medicare is going to pay primary. That means Medicare pays first and your employer plan pays second. Okay, so if you thought you could delay Part B and you're on an employer plan with less than 20 employees and you've got medical expenses, your employer plan on under 20 is generally going to pay as if Medicare already paid their portion. So that's why it's so important that you sign up for Part B, Medicare Part A and Part B, and so you have that coverage. Okay. So, for example, if you go to the doctor, Medicare is going to pay first, your employer plan is going to pay second, and to cover those out-of-pocket costs and deductibles. Okay, so again, under 20, you need to sign up for original Medicare Part A and Part B when you're coming up on 65. So that applies to, like I said, whether you're actively working or you're on a spouse's plan that has less than 20 employees, same rule applies. You need to sign up for original Medicare if you're with a company coverage with under 20 employees. Okay. So because Medicare is primary in this situation and pays first, enrolling in Medicare when first eligible is super important, right? So Medicare, if Medicare is not active, like I said, your employer may pay, process claims as if Medicare already paid. So you could be stuck with some pretty big costs there. They could deny claims, reduce payments. You'd have higher out-of-pocket costs, obviously. It would be a mess. You don't want to do that. So in addition, delaying Medicare Part B without other valid primary coverage could result in a late enrollment penalty and a gap in coverage, like I'd mentioned. So timing here is really important, that you're first signing up when you're coming up on 65. We recommend 3 months prior. Set up that discovery call. Make sure you understand everything. You've got everything set up in a game plan, and we can help you with all that. There's no charge for our services. All right, so let's take a look at scenario number two. So scenario number two is that you're with an employer with more than 20 employees, and typically primary, the Medicare is going to pay second. So your employer plan pays first, Medicare pays second. So that's why you can delay Medicare Part B here. So you can pick up Part A, which is free and to majority of all people, and then there is a Part B premium. So some people will want to delay that and stay on their employer plan. So in this scenario, the employer plan pays first and Medicare pays a secondary coverage. Here you're going to have that option. So some individuals, like I said, you're going to want to delay Medicare Part B, depending on your coverage and costs. And you can jump on a call with us. And like I said, there's no charge. We'll go over that with you. We can do a discovery call and really kind of lay things out for you if you want that help. So you can sign up for Part A. That's generally no premium for most people, and then delay Part B until you're ready to go off your group plan or retire. So you're not paying that additional premium for Part B, and while you have employer group coverage. And if you want to compare the costs and benefits, I'm happy to do that for you. So it's really important to understand, and compare costs and benefits. And again, 3 months before having to make a decision, give us a call and we'll do a discovery call with you and help you with all those questions. Okay. So the key takeaway here is simple. Employer size determines which coverage pays first. So under 20 employees, your Medicare is going to pay first. You have to sign up when you turn 65. You have to sign up for original Medicare. If you're on a group employer plan with more than 20 employees, then the employer plan pays first. And so you can delay Part B coverage if you would like. And that's something that you need to decide when coming up to 65. So the good news is that when everything is set up correctly, coverage typically works very well together. You have stronger overall coverage, lower out-of-pocket costs, and smoother claims processing. So you always want to be, fully protected. So my role is to help ensure that Medicare and your employer group health coverage work together correctly. So just kind of to summarize, right? Employer plan, the size of your employer is a key role in how this works. And so Medicare, enrolling in Medicare at the right time is important and depends on your situation. So as you're coming up to 65, whether you're with a large group or small group, set up a discovery call. We would love to help you, but with an agent just to determine, what your options are, right? Because you don't want to play this wrong. So understanding these basics can help you avoid common mistakes and some big out-of-pocket costs if that was the case. So if you'd like to learn more, we do host, like I said, a Medicare Basics webinar where we take a deeper dive every other Thursday. So you can join us for that. Or you can give us a call. We can schedule a discovery call, a one-on-one, and help you with your situation. There's never a charge for our services, and we can walk you through the steps that are unique to your situation, provide you options and help you choose the right coverage, and then take care of you as the years go by. And thank you so much again for joining us. I hope this was helpful. My name is John Riley. You can reach out. You can go to our website. If you're a consumer, turning 65 or getting ready to retire, you can go to MedicareSouthBay.com. It's a simple site that gives you, some videos, and you can schedule a call with me. You can also email me directly at john@RileyEBI.com, or you can give us a call. I'm at extension 2. And then if you're an employer or a partner working with us, you can go to RileyEBI.com, and you're going to see all that information as well. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining us today and joining me. Have a great rest of your week and weekend, and look forward to serving you and helping in any way we can. Okay? All right, thanks.